guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video is going to be on a PanPastel demonstration. So I do one of these demonstrations every month. Before I continue, if you guys can just give me a heads up or a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me and see me okay. The internet is good today, so there shouldn't be any lag. I'm hoping there's not going to be any lag. Yeah, a few of you on already. Welcome. Hey guys, I'm not going to go through all the names. A lot of you are those that I've seen before. We've got some newbies on here as well. And that's great. Cool. Sound and video are great. All good. Amazing. That's good. Radio. Okay, so in today's demonstration, we're going to be doing this cat. And the this reference download you can get from Pixabay, I think it is. So if you look in the description, you can see a download reference link. And it is, yeah, it's pixabay.com. And you guys can, it's a royalty-free photo, so you guys can get it from there and you guys can give it a go as well. The paper that I'm using is the UArt 400 sanded paper. And I've already put this down and I've already done my outline. Just a couple of spots here and there. And we're just going to get straight into the PanPastel today. So a lot of my live streams end up taking a lot of time with the outlines. So I'm going to stop doing that and leave that only for my students, where we literally go through everything from scratch. But in the live streams, I think I'm going to skip the outline and prep part and just get straight into the drawing part. Okay, so DJ says hello. So great. If you guys have any questions for me, please tag me like you can see DJ just did. It just makes it so much easier for me to see your questions on the chat. And or if you don't know how to tag, if you can just put your question all in capital letters, that'd be great. And see if you can make your questions relevant to PanPastels, if that's all right, and relevant to what we're doing today. It would just make it a little bit easier to keep track of, because I don't want to be looking up and answering or reading too much, because I want to see if I can literally get this done within today's hour-and-a-half session. So yeah. Alrighty. It's pretty cold today, so like this whole morning I've been trying to make my art room super cozy. I have the heater at the back and it's starting to warm up nicely, but my hands are still cold. So if you also read the description, you can see how you can take part of today's giveaways. I'll show you what the giveaways are now before we get started. And yeah, Karen's asking, are you doing any colored pencils with this cat? Yes. So I'm going to try and use as few colored pencils as I can. Let's just put it that way. As few colored pencils as I can. And I think in the description I said polychromos pencils. I'm going to limit myself to only using the tin of 24 pencils, which I need to get out so that I don't use more than that. So I've got a tin here of 24 Faber-Castell polychromos pencils, and those are the ones we'll use. Yeah. Cool. So the first giveaway, the first giveaway is going to be this set of 20 PanPastels. Okay, I know what's happening there. Let me fix that real quick. So the first giveaway is going to be this set. Let me zoom out over here. You can see how my workstation is. This big set of 20 colors. So this one is the drawing set, the painting set. So if you look at the PanPastel catalog, we've got one here. They tell you all the sets that they have. So this one is the painting set, the first prize, and all these applicator sponges as well. So that's going to be the first giveaway. The second giveaway is going to be Jason Morgan's wildlife set. So that's this one here. So Jason Morgan, for those that don't know, I put the link to his Patreon just underneath the palette in the description. And he created this palette because he mainly does wildlife art, and he loves using pan pastels and pastel pencils. So if you're really into pastels, then it's really worth checking out his channel. And this palette is a palette that he created and uses all the time. And then we've got some sponges in that are going to go with that too. And then finally, the third one is a small little set of 5 pan pastel colors. So you got red, yellow, blue, white, and black. And then you've got these sponges in a little catalog book as well. So some really, really cool pan pastel giveaways. So let me get them out of my way. And we can get started. Iggy is asking, do pan pastels behave differently in different temperatures? I don't know. I think if the pan pastels themselves, are you saying if they get really hot, will something happen? Or if they get really cold, will something happen? I don't think anything would happen with the temperature. I know that if you had to accidentally drop one and it had to crumble and break, you can still use force to sort of compact it down again, and you can still use it. But I don't know what temperature would do to it. I've never used pan pastels a lot. So in terms of applying pan pastel to your paper, and the paper being exposed to different temperatures, the effect that it would have, I haven't a clue. It'd be great if someone could let me know about that. That's a interesting question. Okay. Radio, you guys ready? Okay, so I have to remember to record this time. Let me just check. Put my timer on. Great, let's go. So I've put my outline down already, and you can choose which method you want to use. You can use the transferring method, you can use a freehand method, you can use a grid, whatever method you prefer using with for your outline, just go for it. I have a video on my YouTube channel that goes through the different types of outlines that you can create. The difference between freehand and vector, I think we did with the fox. So that's available there if you want to see how to do the outline. This one I transferred real quick. All I did is I took a print like this. I used a sponge, this one here. And I took a pan pastel color. I covered the whole back of the paper. I'm out of breath. I'm not breathing while I'm talking. Okay, I covered the whole back of the paper with a pan pastel, and then I turned it around. I took an etching tool and I applied the outline just real quick of the cat onto my drawing paper, and it took me like 5 minutes. So it was really, really quick. And also something really cool about the sanded paper. So let's use a pencil, for example. So let's say we used our warm grey 274 to put the outline down, and we create a line like that we don't want there, an accidental line. If you use a putty rubber, you can just lift it off pretty easy. My putty rubber is pretty dirty, but so you can, that was a pretty dark mark that I just removed there. So it's pretty easy to remove your lines if you're doing freehand outlines and you're going to have lines all over the place, then it's easy to define those lines by just using putty rubber, and it doesn't leave any marks on your paper at all, which is pretty cool. Hey Esme! Okay, so I've got someone to remind me about camera today, which is good. Okay, we are going to start off with the eyes. Let's zoom in. So the color palette is in the description, but I'll mention each color as I use them. Oh, and I'm using these 4 soft tools. And I'm going to use this triangular sponge for the fur, which I'll show you later. So with the eyes, what I'm going to do for you guys is I just printed this on regular printing paper, and I'm going to keep it really close so that you guys can see what I'm seeing, and we'll try and get as close of a result as we can. So I'm going to start off with the Phthalo Blue tint, which is this one, and I like using this applicator, soft applicator tool. Because of the point, it just gives you more control. So I'm just going to dab this in there like that. And I'm going to apply that on the eye. Now, you don't even have to, like when you put your lines down, you don't have to erase your lines, because the PanPastel is going to move your pencil colors around until you seal it with a fixative. So you don't have to worry about your sketch lines being all over the place. You can easily lose your lines as you add the PanPastel. So if you want to, like the pupil of the eye, I don't want to lose it, so because the PanPastel sort of just rubbed it in, I am just going to take another pencil and just put that line back there so I don't lose it. So apply your PanPastel, put the line back there with the pencil, and then keep going if you don't want to lose those lines underneath the PanPastel. So I love this with sandpaper, because the sandpaper just grips the PanPastel and it looks really strong and bright and pigmented. So we're going to do the same for the other eye. I just had deja vu. I've been having a lot of them. Deja vu about having deja vu. I've done this before. Okay. Now also with the sandpaper and the layering of the PanPastels, you're going to have to seal it in with a fixative a couple of times, because I won't be able to layer much more than that, and I want the color to still be even stronger than that. Because if you look real close, you can still see the paper is still coming through from underneath the surface. So I don't want that to happen. So if I want to stop that, I'm going to have to seal it with a fixative and then go over it again. And let's say you make a mistake and you slip and you accidentally do that on your picture, you can take your putty eraser and you can fix it. So there's a lot of room for error because it's very easy to correct. And then you can just fix it up again. Okay, now I would like to use some of the Ultra Blue Extra Dark PanPastel, and I'm going to use the point of my PanPastel. To see if you guys have any questions. Hey Laurie, welcome! Happy you could finally make a live stream. We're happy to have you. First time watching Ivy, welcome! Nice to have you on here. Okay. Julie's saying, I love how using PanPastels are like painting. I know, it's pretty cool. It's at the end of a PanPastel drawing or painting, I think it's just better off calling it a pencil painting or pastel painting. Because sometimes it just looks like an oil painting. Cool. Okay, so I'm gonna turn this upside down and use the point. My dogs sound like they're gonna go crazy. There might be someone at the door. No. Okay. So around the eyes, it's quite dark. So I'm going to use the blue to put that in there. Hello. What you barking at? There's not too much on the top of the eye, so you don't need to apply much to the top. So because I'm streaming, I can't turn my paper around a lot because I need to keep it fixed. So I would tell you to, if you don't have a video camera over the top of your work, then move the paper around, don't move your body around. It'll be much more comfortable and you can get an accurate sort of swoop. Because if you are used to holding your hand at a certain angle, it's hard to get as even of a curve when you put your arm into a different angle, if that makes sense, because you're not used to having it in that angle. So see how you go. But sometimes if you're working on a massive piece, you can't turn it around, so you just have to turn your body around. Okay. Now the excess that I have on my sponge, I want to just add some in here. Add some in the iris of the eye. Sorry about that dog that's barking. It's the neighbor's dog. Put a bit more on there. You can even do the iris a bit if you like. Okay. Now I'm not going to get many more layers than that in without it looking a bit faded. So I'm going to have to spray it. So I'm going to use my Mikador Workable Matte Fixative. You can use any fixative that's made for charcoal or pastels and that. So this is the easiest one to get your hands on if you're in Australia. And Mikador is an Australian product. So if you're looking for a fixative, just look for something that says that. Look for matte workable fixative, not a finishing fixative. You want a workable fixative. And matte is usually better than gloss, I guess. Or I don't know, I haven't tried another one, so I can't say. And this one says it's for pastel, charcoal, chalk, and pencil work. So just find a fixative that works for the materials that you're using. Okay. I just want to cover my phone and that with paper towels. And then cover the PanPastels as well. You don't want to spray fixative on them. Now I really think someone's here. Yep. Okay, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm going to spray that. Just on the eyes. And I can actually see where it's spraying. It doesn't take too long to dry, which is great. Let me answer some questions. Julie's asking, how would you recommend avoiding pastel smearing when working on another area? I know I will drag my hand through something. I know, I do that all the time as well. I do it all the time as well. So I will get to a point where I'm just going to take a cellophane sheet like this. So, because I work all over the place. And I know they recommend saying work from left to right. That way your hand won't touch the areas you're working on. But I'm going to do an underpainting of all of it before I start adding details over the top. So my hand is going to be over the top of my work. So then you just use a cellophane sheet like this under your hand. And yeah, I do the same thing. My hands get super dirty and I can't work above it. Some people can work above, but I can't. Me, I have to rest my hand on there. So I'm the same. Iggy's asking, where's my pocket watch? It died. The battery died. And you know what's sad? It's cheaper to get a new pocket watch than it is to replace the battery. Cool. Maureen, could you add Wicked on again, please? Thank you. Cool. So that's already good to go. So now when we add another layer, let me remove this keyboard so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. So now when we add the second layer, the blue is going to show up much brighter and it's going to hide the paper even more. So if you find that you are happy with the layer and you don't want to change a layer, that is the time that you seal it in, because you're like, okay, I don't want to move the colors around anymore. I want that to stay as it is. Then you seal it in with a fixative and the bottom layers won't move around anymore. And you can just add on top of it. So look at how much more intense that blue is compared to that blue. Because it's layering more, the pigment is becoming stronger because we've sealed in the bottom layers. The same goes for when we add the darker blue. Again, that's going to appear much darker as well. So if you find you want to use a really dark color, but it's not getting as dark as what it is in the palette itself, it's because you need to seal it in first and then gradually layer. And the more you layer between fixatives like that, the more pigmented and stronger the color is going to appear. So again, I'm not worried about details. I just want to get my colors in. Oh, and if you want to clean your PanPastel color, you can just take a paper towel and wipe it off like that. So let's say you've used a dark color, but now you want to go into a light color, then you wipe the dark color off first. And then you can go back into your light color without having to change your sponge. You can just keep using the same one until it's completely worn out. Just use a paper towel to clean it off. Jody's asking if I've used an easel. I have. I even had a table for a while that was up on an angle. But I still prefer to work flat, I guess. I have a table that's high enough for me to stand, so I can stand right now and draw. And I also adjust my chair, so I make sure that my arm is at a comfortable length and that I don't feel like I'm working up here or that I'm working way too low and then arching my head too far over. So making sure that my body, my posture is straight and my arms are comfortable. I'm not overdoing the movement of my arm. Ivy is asking, is there a way to add a glaze to the eyes with color pencils or PanPastels? Yeah, so the eyes are going to end up looking just as glossy as what they are in this reference. And I'll show you how. It's all about how you highlight. And we'll do that with our pencils, yes. Julie's saying, I love layering with acrylics. Watching you do this makes so much more sense to me in this demo. I think PanPastels and I are going to get along well. I know, they're pretty amazing. Okay, thanks Esme. Okay, I'm going to use some of this one. Rightio, so the part of the eye over here is quite wide, so it comes up further. So I'm going to keep using the Ultra Blue Extra Dark, and I'm going to extend the color out a bit more, just using the tip of my sponge. So remember, it's always going to look bad before it starts looking good. It's a process of layering and taking your time and being okay with it looking bad before it starts looking good. So the eyes are going to take us the longest. The rest of the cat will be pretty quick. So, and the eyes are the most important because it's what brings the life to the drawing. Okay. So on the inside of the eye here is a bit of like a ochre sort of color. So I'm going to use the raw umber, or should I say umbery sort of color. And I will use my little triangular sponge. I love hearing that, Karen. Beginning to love PanPastels instead of being afraid of them. Yeah, they're very easy to use. Karen's asking, is there a limit to the number of times you can use workable fixative on a painting? If you're using this paper and you're using PanPastels, then there's no limit because you're not using the tooth of the paper at all. So you can keep going for ages. Lady Marigold is saying, I have the UART 800. Would the PanPastels work as well on that, or do you need more tooth? It'll work on the 800, yes. You might just have to seal a few more layers with the fixative, that's all. Or do more layers. Okay, so I'm going to use some of that and put some of that, because I can see that in the reference over here. Got a bit of the umber. And I'm even going to use some of it in the eye over here. Do the same on the side. Constantly looking at my reference. Okay, now I'm going to seal that in again, and then I think I'm going to use my pencils for the rest of the inside of the eye to get those real fine details that I can't get with the PanPastel sponges. So if I wanted to do this entire eye just using my PanPastels, the eyes would have to be pretty big, like this, because you know, the point of this sponge is about as small as you can get. So if you want those real fine details, you're going to have to use your pencils. But if you don't, if you just want it to look like a nice soft painting, then you don't have to do those details in pencils. You can just leave it to look like a painting. It goes a bit darker when you apply the fixative. So you can see that you've applied it on a section, which is great. Just leave it to dry a bit again. DJ saying, does the pastel dust get in the air? Yeah, I'd say so. It's a pretty fine dust. It's a pretty fine dust, so I would say that it gets in the air. I gotta find out about the 2 more minutes, Esme, thank you. I gotta find out about exactly what's in the PanPastels. I wonder if the booklet tells you what PanPastels is made of exactly. It doesn't really say. I'm gonna have to ask Bernie about that. Because all it says on here is that PanPastel colors are professional artist quality soft pastel colors packed in a unique pan format, cake-like. The special qualities of PanPastel colors mean that artists can blend and apply pastel dry color like paint for the first time. PanPastel colors are made using a unique manufacturing process requiring minimal binder and fillers, resulting in rich, ultra soft and super blendable colors. Yeah, so that's about all that it says. I'll ask Bernie about that. And just find out like what the toxicity is and all that sort of stuff. I'll see if I can find out, because I did a workshop yesterday, 2 days ago, and I had the same question, so I'm not quite sure what exactly is in there, but I shall find out. Cool. So, okay, so now, because I've limited myself to only using the Faber-Castell 12 pencil kit, so that's this one here. 24 pencils. I won't be using any of my others, so I'm just going to use that, and I just want to sharpen some of them. Cool. I just turned the sound off because the sharpener is right next to the microphone and it's very loud. Karen is saying, do you recommend finishing the eyes completely before doing the rest of the cat? That's personal preference, really. I usually like finishing the eyes completely before I do anything else. But yeah, it's personal preference. You have to play and see how you feel about it. You know, another option would be to, because I did the underpainting of the eyes, do the underpainting of the rest of the cat first, and then continue with the details of the eyes. So it's really up to you. But I usually like getting the eyes done straight up because it just looks so nice and the eyes look realistic. Sorry. Okay. So grey and white. I'm gonna need these two as well. So I'm gonna use my Helio Blue Reddish number 151, and I should use the cellophane because now I'm gonna put my hand over that eye. So I'll work on this eye first. So the pupil is so easy because it's just a line. It goes all the way to the top. And then I don't have dark indigo in this set, which is a shame because I'd use that. But because I don't have that, I'm going to use the black. But usually what I do when I'm using black, I'll put another color over the top of it. So I'll put the Helio Blue over the top of that so the black doesn't look so flat. So really looking at my reference the whole time. And the great thing about this paper as well is that you can apply your PanPastels over the top of your colored pencils too. So you can seal your pencils in with the fixative, apply the PanPastels over the top, because I'd apply the PanPastels over the top of this section again as I'm going into the fur around the eye. Okay, the Helio Blue Reddish number 151. I'm going to go over the black. That makes such a big difference. There almost seems to be slight little lines over the pupil over here. Okay. Now I'm going to use the Phthalo Blue number 110. So I can see this color over here. So that's where I'm applying it. Bit of it over here and there. Okay, I can even see some purple. Ah, it's hard when you're working with a limited palette. Okay, so I'm going to use the light ultramarine 140 for this section of the eye here. It's got some of like a purpley tone in there. I'm going to use some of the warm grey too, number 271. Candace is saying, why not use pastel pencils? Do you get finer detail with the polys? Just curious. I just use polys because I like using my oil and my wax-based pencils. I don't really use pastel pencils ever. I guess because just my main medium that I use is colored pencils, and I always just go to them. That's the only reason, not like a conscious reason. I do have some Faber-Castell Pit pastel pencils that I want to try, and I will. But yeah, I like the polys and I know they work really well, so that's why I use them. And I hate sharpening pastel pencils. They're a nightmare for me to sharpen, so I just avoid it. So yeah, I'm using the warm grey 2, number 271. So this is going to help make that highlight sort of appear. There's like a triangular highlight under the eye here. And then if I use some of the white on top of that, it'll make that highlight appear a little bit stronger. So you'll notice as you keep building it up, it's going to start looking more realistic. So what you can do is with your pencils, you can actually blend them in a little bit more with your soft applicator sponge. If you want to get the texture of the paper to disappear a little better. I just dab it. I try not to move it around too much because you can move it around a fair bit. Okay, now I think I just want to add a bit more of the light ultramarine 140. Because that's the closest I'm going to get to a purple. I'd like to use a violet pencil, but because I'm only using the set of 24 pencils, I cannot use the violet. Phthalo blue number 110. Use some of the Walnut Brown 177. Because there's brownish areas in the eye here. Now I'm going to use some of the Earth Green Yellowish 168. Just to apply some of these greenish tones in there. And then over the top of that, I can use my warm grey. I'm going to create little circular motions actually to give it a bit more texture. And light ultramarine. Just gonna sharpen the black. Okay, so now I'm going to do these designs in the eye. I really want to use the right pencil. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna use some of the violet, number 138. Thanks, Esme. Okay, now I want to use some of the Helio Blue Reddish 151, and then I want to seal this in, and I'll show you how I use PanPastel over the top of colored pencils. Just spray that. Lady Marigold is asking, the colored pencils have a shine that makes the marks stand out as different from the matte pastels. Does the fixative take that away? Yeah, so the pastels will always be matte, and if you're using the matte fixative as well, it's going to make it matte. So whatever sort of shine you manage to develop, the minute you apply the fixative, it's going to make it matte. So if you really want it to look shiny at the very end, you can either spray it with a gloss varnish and make it look shiny, or if you don't want it to look matte, then don't use pastels and don't use the matte fixative. So just use pencils. Okay, let that dry. Cool. So now I'd like to add some more of this blue. I'm using the blue to help emphasize the highlight in the eyes. come back in with my pencil just to sharpen that edge up a bit more. And some of the warm grey to sharpen that section up. I use little circular motions to help add the highlights. Getting there. I'm gonna sharpen my white pencil. Now I want to emphasize the highlight even more. And then the light ultramarine 140. Sorry, I got very quiet there. I was trying to get very focused. So add color to this section, and then I'm even going to use the white on here just to give it a bit more depth and variation because it's not completely smooth. So I don't have the perfect blue, like the exact blue, but that's fine. You don't have to have the exact same colors. And if you are using a smaller palette, you may not have the colors to be able to apply. So use what you've got. Thanks, Esme. Okay. Okay, and just the black in there just to emphasize the strength of the pupil. Black over here. Just under the eye. Cool. It looks pretty good. Some more of the Phthalo Blue 110. It's very easy to just go on forever and ever. Sometimes you just have to make yourself stop. I actually want to use a little bit of the Raw Amber 180 in here as well. Oh, that makes a very big difference. That looks good. There we go. So I like the strength in the pigment in my eye compared to this one. I actually think it looks really good. I use some of the Ultramarine 120. Just soften this in a bit more. And then a bit of the Warm Grey 271, and then I promise I'll stop. And a little bit of the Walnut Brown 177, just under here. Here. Okay. Cool. How are we doing for time? So we start. Oh my gosh, we only have 10 minutes left. And I was supposed to do this whole thing in that amount of time. So what I'll do is I'll do the giveaways in 10 minutes, but I will carry on until I'm done with the rest of the stream. If you guys are cool with that. So because I like my eye the way it is, I still got to do PanPastels and that around the eye, but the iris of the eye itself I'm going to leave as it is. So I'm going to spray that with my fixative. So that it stays. And see what other questions we have. So 8 more minutes and we will do the giveaways. Okay. Oh, hey Val. I think you've been on here for a while. Cool. Not many questions, which I think is not a bad thing. I guess because you guys, it makes me think that I'm showing enough for you to not have too many questions. Artistic Creations is saying, I always overblend eyes. Can you give any suggestions on how I can maintain the glow in the eye? So the glow in the eye is always about the highlight. The white highlight is what makes an eye look like it's glowing. And emphasize the highlight if you really wanted to glow. And I can actually show you how to do that right now. So let's say I want my eye, the cat of my eye, to look super moist compared to the reference. Where are you? Here we go. So I will use a white paint marker. I love doing this. This is always so much fun. And I will overemphasize the highlights in the eye. Compared to the reference. And that's just going to make it glow even more. There we go, I'm going to stop. I don't want to overdo it too much. So, and then if you want, you can use an etching tool. And just break it up a little. If you want it to be finer. Or clean up any edges that might be too sharp. So there, that paint marker made that look super glossy, which is a lot of fun to do with the eyes. Oh, did I say the cat of the eye instead of the eye of the cat? I didn't even notice. Thanks. You guys knew what I meant. Ooh, so Jody says that you get Spectra Fix in Australia. Oh, no, she's asking, can you get Spectra Fix? I don't know. I haven't heard of it. Has anyone tried it? Jason Morgan did a review and it was the best in regards to it not darkening the pastels and no fumes. That, I'm going to write that down. Like, that'd be... Thank you for saying that. So let's find out about it. So, Spectra Fix. Okay, I wrote it down. A few more minutes. What I might do is just give you a hint of the process of that I'm going to take for the fur. So I might just do the underpainting part of the fur around the eye. I'm going to use my flat soft applicator sponge and the raw umber tint. I might mix it up with some of the white. Oh, my battery died. Okay, I just need to put in a new battery and then we can keep going. Radio. So what do I do with it? So some of the white and the raw umber tint. Put it over here, the top of the eye. About there. It doesn't look like much because it's close to the color of the paper, but it's there. Then some of the neutral gray shade. Okay, so 1 more minute and then no more donations, because then that's it, we're going to do the giveaway. So I'm actually using the square part of the sponge to still go in the right direction of the fur. So I'm sort of flicking it outwards. And then what I just did there is pretty much what I'm going to do for the entire cat. And then build up from that more and more. Okay, great. So we're done. Please don't do any more super chats or send in any more donations, because we are going to pick a winner now, or pick the winners for the 3 giveaways. Oh, and just on that note, the reason I do it this way is so that you guys can help me cover postage, because 9 out of 10 times those that win the PanPastel giveaways are in the US or the UK, and then postage just ends up costing a fortune. So it costs me between $35 and $50 just to send the PanPastels, depending on where you are. So the super chat is what helps me cover that. So I don't want to be out of pocket. Yeah, so good luck, everybody. I think everybody's on the same page now. Okay, so we are going to do the first giveaway, which is the set of 20. Make sure nobody else. Awesome. Just checking Maureen's all good. Okay, let me get the giveaways. Right, so the first one is a set of 20, which is the Pure Colors set, the painting set. And that is this one. I'm going to zoom right out so you guys can see the whole table. Turn this off. Okay, so this whole set, including the tray, so it'll come in this tray of colors. They're beautiful, bold, bright colors. They're gorgeous. And then all these soft applicators. So that's going to be the first one. And the way I'm going to do it is Maureen, I think Maureen's going to give me a final number. There we go. So we've got entries 1 to 112. Wow. So I've got a randomizing app, and I go settings, and I go minimum 1, maximum 112. Done. It's probably hard to see, but maximum 112, and then save. And the first one is number 26. Number 26. So number 26 is going to get all of this. So make sure, if you're on a student of mine, if you can, on my website, shaldenefineart.com, in the contact information, if you can just send me your postage details, and then I'll get this off to you as soon as possible. So that's number 26. Ivy? I'll just get Maureen to confirm. That'd be insane. Because Because this is the first time you're on the stream, aren't you, Ivy? So you got to join us. Congratulations. So Ivy, if you can get in touch with me on my website and just send me your postage details, then I'll send it off to you. Yay! I love it when newbies get on here and they win something. It's fantastic. Congratulations, Ivy. Okay, let me make a little note of that. So Ivy gets this one. Awesome. Great. Now for the next one. So this one is the set of 10, which is Jason Morgan's wildlife palette. So these are the colors that you would mainly need to pretty much do any wildlife. And Jason Morgan teaches this palette a lot in a lot of his videos. So the link to his channel is underneath that palette in the description if you want to check out his work. But this palette is the next one that's coming up with these applicator sponges. And the next number is number 60. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, I want to mention that right now, is if you win 2 of these, the second one's going to go to somebody else. So even though you've entered 5 times, it increases your chances for winning something, but I want someone different to get each kit if that's okay. Just makes it a little bit more fair, and yeah, we share. So number 60 is the next one. Number 60 is Wicked! Yay! Oh my gosh, Wicked has been trying for the giveaways for I don't know how long. So I'm so happy that Wicked has finally won this one. That's fantastic. Wicked, if I don't know if Wicked's still on here. If she is, then say hello, because I'd love for you to check out Wicked's Instagram because she does amazing graphite art. So I'm interested to see how Wicked goes with the PanPastels because she likes sticking with the graphite pencils. So I want to see what she does with the color. It'll be insane. Yeah, Esme's like, where is she? Where is she? Okay, congratulations, Wicked. That's amazing. Okay, so you get this one. And I'll put a note on that one. Beautiful. And then the last one, which is this cute little set of 5 PanPastel colors with this applicator sponge and PanPastel book. So that one is going to go to number 16. Who's number 16? Congratulations, guys. This is great. So I can actually edit the description now. The winner. So So winner was Ivy Moore. Winner Wicked. And number 16 is Bob Palmer. Oh my gosh, Bob is like the luckiest person in the world. She's won so many. Congratulations, Bob. Well done. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me put the winner. Bob Palmer is the third one. Save. I'm going to, so just refresh your video if you want to see the winners in the description. And congratulations, guys. That's great news. And I do love that Bob's won a game because Bob has been supporting me for ages. So it gets me all warm and fuzzy inside if those that have been supporting me for a while win something. So it's great. And of course the newbies that come on, because hopefully you'll come back because it's fun to hang out in the live streams and in the student portal. So congratulations to all the winners. Yes, you guys did fab. I appreciate you joining me. So I'm not going to end the stream now because I want to finish this cat in this whole stream. So I know some of you, the hours of the day are like early morning hours for those in the UK. So go to sleep, that's fine. But for those that want to try this video, I'm just going to keep going until I'm done. And then this video will also be up on PanPastel's YouTube channel when it's finished too. Alrighty. So thank you guys for participating and tuning in. You do not have to do the super chat or anything anymore because the giveaways are finished. So just keep that in mind. But I do this once a month, and every month I'll be doing PanPastel giveaways like this. So if you want to know when those things are coming up, just subscribe to my mailing list, and then I generally send an email out a couple of minutes before the live stream or the day before or whenever, just to give you guys a heads up that it's coming up, and then you guys can participate in the next one. Okay, cool. So let me put that in a safe spot, and then we can keep going. Right, let's zoom in and we can start recording again. And we will carry on with the fur. Actually, I might just take like a 2-minute break. Have a banana to eat real quick. And then we'll keep going. So I will be back in 2 minutes. Okay. My gosh, it's so cold. Okay, start recording. Right, let's get into the bit where we start the fur, because I know everyone wants to see how to do the fur. So I want to do the underpainting. So underpainting is just the first couple of layers, or the first 1 or 2 of the whole cat. So I think I'm just going to block in my neutral grey shine and probably a bit of the raw umber, and then mix that up with the white as well. So let me put those 3 colors here, because I'm going to just dab my soft tools in there the whole time. Christmas stuff. Not yet. Excuse me. You are so welcome, Ivy. Robin is saying reference pictures on a printer. Do you print your pictures? I'm not sure what your question is. It almost looks like it got cut off short. But I did print this one, and the reason I printed this one was so that I could have it close by while I do the tutorial. So it's much easier for you guys to see what I'm seeing if I can have it on here instead of just have it in the screen in front of me. So I think you guys see a lot more by having the reference so close. Okay. I generally don't like printing if I don't have to, but for the tutorials I do because it makes it easier for you guys watching. Okay. So the neutral grey, the raw umber, and the white. So between these three, I'm just gonna apply color. If I want something to be lighter, I'll add it into dip the white into it. I'm gonna swap between these two. Just clean the blue off of that one. So I've got a paper towel. If you want to clean your sponges, just wipe it off on a paper towel. I want to use the neutral grey extra dark just to put in those dark shadows. What happened here? So I can see exactly where the, oh, I see, yeah. Where the shadows of the snout are, because as I apply my PanPastels, I'm going to lose my lines. Okay, let's just block that in anyways. So where the stripes are, so all the stripes on the cat and these dark areas here by the whiskers and that's what I'm going to do now using the neutral grey extra dark, just so that when I start blocking in all these other values, I'm not going to lose my outlines. Not worried about detail, I just want to block in some color. The whiskers I do completely last, so the great thing about this paper is I can use my white pencil at the end or a light warm grey pencil at the end and apply the whiskers straight over the top. If you're just using colored pencils on something like watercolor paper, you can't do it that way, but we can do it this way with sandpaper. And that's what I'm actually teaching now in my student portal. I've started a new curriculum that started at the beginning of this month, where we're going to go through all the different paper types, pencil types, all that stuff. If you have a look on my YouTube channel, about 3 videos ago, in the uploads, I've got a video on what the student portal looks like and where you can find the breakdown of the curriculum instead of me just repeating it in this video. So if you're an utmost beginner and you want to know where to start with pencils, then check it out and you guys can see if that will interest you or not. Tippy tap. Okay, so that's made everything a lot easier for me already because I can see those dark areas. Barb is asking, will you be doing anything with suede matte paper? Okay, I'm gonna have to just add that to my list. While I'm busy with doing all the papers, may as well add that paper. I've never used it or tried it, so I will add it to the list. Suede matte paper. I really hate that word. Because if it's suede, it's probably from an animal. And I'm so against using animal products. But I'll check it out. We'll see. Tracy is so sweet. And yes, Maureen, you can totally chill out. Thank you so much for what you did. I did thank Maureen before, but I must just really thank her during these live streams as well. Maureen helps me out so much with moderating the chat and stuff, so I am so appreciative of her. It makes it easy for me to not worry too much about it, and I know that she will keep things on track for me. Karen's saying I should consider making these a gift certificate instead of having to mail all of these. Well, see, PanPastel sends me these giveaways for free. So the whole point is for me to get these giveaways out. So I already get them for free, and the super chat's good because it covers me for postage every time, and people tend to like getting involved in this way. So yeah, so it works out fine. I'm covered for postage, and I get free things from PanPastel to send to you guys. So I can't just make it a gift certificate. Okay, Bob said it's flocked. It's called suede. It's a fun paper. Okay, cool. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I'll check it out. If you can send me a link, if there's like a website that just gives me a bit more information about it, that'd be great. Cool. That'll do. Okay, let's do some of these bottom areas as well. I'll just keep using the same sponge. And then these shadowed areas underneath here, I'm not worried about the whiskers. I'm totally ignoring the whiskers. I just want to get these parts in, the shadows in there. And I must just remember camera check. Start. So I'm doing this section here. And then underneath the chin. Dab it in this one as well. This one and this one. The neutral grey extra dark and the raw umber, because there's more of a brownish tone up there. See a bit of difference that made already? It's pretty good. Okay. Now, I'm going to use this triangular sponge. And again, I'm going to be sort of mixing between these colors here. Okay, that's better. So I've got the neutral grey tint over here, the neutral grey shade over here, the white, the raw umber tint, raw umber shade, raw umber tint, raw umber shade over here. Okay, so I'm gonna be just dabbing in these colors all the time. So using the raw umber shade and the white, I'm going to use the flat tip of the sponge to sort of create those wispy motions. And then, because on my reference I can see that it's going from light and then it's going to get a bit darker up here. So I'll use some more of the grey, the neutral grey. And I want it to be even darker, so I'm going to use a neutral grey extra dark as well. So let me add this to the top there. And then because we haven't sealed anything with fixative, when you're working on the base layer, you can really manipulate things a lot. So you can constantly work. If you've gone too dark, you can just keep rubbing it to make it lighter. If it's too light, you can see which areas need to be darkened. So this area here is a fairly neutral grey colour. And under the chin it's like a white and the raw umber tint, because it's more of a warm tone than it is a cool tone. So if it's a warm tone, we're going to use the raw umber tint. So using the white over here. Some of the raw umber and the raw umber tint. So I don't have any particular colors that I'm dabbing my sponge into. I'm just dabbing them in a bit of everything. As I work on a section, I can see if it needs to be warmer. If it needs to be warmer, I add more of the umber. If it needs to be cooler, I'll add more of the grey. You can see a line across here, and I know why, because I probably kept my page here when I sprayed fixative on the eyes, so it's creating that line, which is fine. As we add more of our layers, it will disappear. So with the underpainting, I'm sort of just want to block in all those. I want to block in the paper. I want to put a layer that's completely filled the paper. I love how much you are enjoying this, Karen. So Karen says, I'm loving this. So easy to see where things are versus doing colored pencils. Yeah, it is quite easy. Now to make it even easier to spot things, I'm going to use the white and this oval sponge. And I just want to emphasize the areas of highlight. Or just the lightest areas at least. Because when I spray it with this fixative, it does dull down the lighter areas quite a bit. So it's almost like the white that I put down kind of disappears, sadly. So I just want to add it in a bit more. Okay, now I'm going to add the darker areas again. So I'm going to use this sponge that I use for the eye and just clean it off. Then using the grey and the raw umber, So by putting those darks in again, I can also see exactly where the darks are. So know where your darkest areas are, know where your lightest areas are, and it's easier to do the rest. Already. Jeez, time is flying for me today. It's unreal. So when you get your head in the zone, you cannot... Time has no effect on you. Okay, so the PanPastel, I can see that it's moving around too much, so it's not going to get any darker than this until I seal it in. So I'm going to have to spray it. Okay, cover everything and I'm gonna spray all of this. Oh, I'm gonna use some of the red iron oxide tint real quick for the snout. Now I'm gonna seal it in. Okay, I'm just gonna step out for a second while that dries. Thanks, Jody. I saw your link on the suede paper. It's still a bit wet. But you can already see where this is going. So just by establishing those values, it makes it so much easier to follow along. Okay, so if I look at an angle and I can't see any more shine, then I'm okay with it and I'm just gonna keep going. So what to do next? Right, I might just focus on working from the left to the right. So I'm going to work on this area around the eye here. So there it is. Using my flat edge sponge, use my raw umber tint and the white. I can see over here there's a bit of brown, so I'm going to use the umber. And then this color here, I want to do this color everywhere first before adding these dark colors. So do the lighter section first, again using the raw umber tint. And I'm using the flat tip of the sponge. Working in the same direction that the fur is going in. Every time you hear that beep, it's 11 minutes that's gone past. And it feels like it's only 2. Hey Esme, yes, I am still recording. Welcome back. So there's a bit more brown here next to the snout, so I'm going to add the raw umber and the raw umber tint. So when you focus on one section, it makes it a bit easier. I might fold this in half. And that's what we're working on. It doesn't help that my hand's over it, does it? we need some other music here. Some other songs. Okay, I'm going too much to the center. I want to focus on this part. When I pick colors up, I just tap it on the PanPastel. I don't really rub it, unless I want to cover a large area really quickly. Esme's asking if I'm going to do the color pencils in either the whiskers in color pencils or the brush and pencil titanium white. I'm going to use pencils. So yeah, the more you focus on one area, the more it starts to just develop. The fur, it's already gaining some texture. Oh, no, my card is full. Where is my other one? I will be right back. Okay, so when my next SD card is full, which isn't a very big one, I think I can go for another 40 minutes, then I'll have to stop. Because it'll take me a while to get everything off of the memory cards. And then I guess we'll carry on another day. Because as usual, this is not something you can get done in just 2 or 3 hours. Although I always seem hopeful at the beginning of a video, don't I? Esme's asking which soft tools do I like the most. She wants to get some, but they're pricey, so I might get one. I'd say if you get the square one and the triangular one, and that should be fine. Because you can have more control with the tip of the triangular one, and the square one allows you to create nice, you know, soft strokes, whether they be straight pieces or not, and you can create curved pieces with the triangular one as well, just with the motion. So if I was going to pick only two, I'd pick these two. If I had to pick only one, I'd pick the square one, because you can still use the corners for details at an angle, so you don't really need the triangular one. Yeah, that's right, DJ. You just don't feel the time. When you actually have the time to sit down and try and relax and do this, It's very easy to sit here for many hours. Some black. Oh, excuse me. Just some areas that are black, or some pieces of fur, but the rest is softer pieces, lighter pieces, should I say. The eye, I'm going to use black just underneath the eye. Just use the corner of this one to sort of pull it out to make it look soft and furry. And then I'm gonna dab some spots right next to it. Okay. Now I actually want to finish this section off. So what I'm going to do, far out, is I'm going to use my pencil. I'm going to use my warm grey to sharpen that. Okay, and focus on these hairs now. I might just zoom in for you guys. Now you can see the furry bits that I'm creating a little bit easier. Hey, Debbie. Ah, it's me, thank you. Yeah, I noticed the other day I reached 16K. That was so nice. So these are longer pieces here, so I'll create longer strokes. Oh, seriously, Esme? 11K. Wow, I should actually check that because... Yeah, you found me in November, didn't you, when I was doing a drawing a day for the whole of November? And then, wow, that wasn't a long time ago, and it was 11K. Thank you, just helped me realize that I reached something pretty cool. Because I've had my YouTube channel for more than 4 years now, I think 5 years. So it's taken me 5 years to get 16K subscribers. So the PanPastel has laid down all the colors for me. All my pencils are doing now is just helping me create that texture, emphasize that texture a little bit more. Thanks, guys. So it's getting softer towards the edges here, so I won't even bother with pencils over there because of how soft it is here. to sharpen this again. Hey Wicked, yep, that's all sorted. I can do that. Oh my gosh. I'm glad I took my face off. You guys are watching on such a big TV. That's crazy. Yeah, you will definitely see every single detail. I'm really happy that today's video has gone so much smoother than the last live stream that I did for the Color Pencil Magazine challenge, because it was such a nice day, but it was like so glitchy, which was very, very frustrating. But today was good. Okay, so there's a few bits over the eye here. Maybe not as curved as that, but anyway, we'll just do that for this cat. So what I'll do is I'll just take the black, go over that. Brown, go over that. See, if you place a hair where you don't really want it, it's easy to fix. Okay, I want to add some of the walnut brown in some of these darker areas. So I'm just going to create soft strokes as if they're under those white areas that I already put down. It's going to help. Just help make that a bit stronger, because it's quite soft, and if you look at the reference, it just needs to be that little bit darker. Oh my gosh, I'm blowing myself away with this. I'm actually really, really liking how this is turning out. Tracy's asking, are the purples in the pastel collection? Would love to do the lady underwater tutorial. Are you talking about a specific pastel collection, or if you're asking if PanPastel has the purples? PanPastel's got the entire color range, so you can get any color. So if you look in their catalog, they should have there. They've got all the colors. So there's some pretty great purples in there that you would use in that tutorial. Is that what you mean? Jody's saying it's looking better than the reference. I love when that happens. Thank you. That's a huge compliment. Theo is asking what pencil you're going to use for the white highlight. I'll probably use white. I'll use white. Oh, I don't know. The warm grey might even do, because that's what I've been using for all the light pieces of fur there. So the warm grey I might use for the whiskers as well. But in terms of this eye, I'm going to call it done. I'll just try and soften that highlight a bit with my white pencil. Okay, don't get me started on the eye again. Okay, so I'm still using the walnut brown, number 177. No. Don't know how I thought I'd get this done in one stream. It's so hard when people ask you, how long is it going to take you to do my commission? And then you're like, well, how am I supposed to know? Art is Fun, welcome. Art is Fun is saying, hi, I'm new to Shaldine's YouTube channel and new to PanPastels. Her work's really amazing. I've been watching the stream since it began. It sure doesn't feel like 3 hours. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you for saying hello. Oh yes, sorry, it is the Faber-Castell white. Laurie says she's getting back to art after 35 years. Wow, amazing. 9 for Jody. It's never too late to get into art. Okay, I might still take my warm grey and still create some strokes here. Okay, I think I can only go for 10 more minutes and then my next card is going to be, memory card is going to be full. And then I guess we'll call it a day. Okay. It actually looks pretty cool with the one eye done. Yeah, it looks really good. So it's easy to see which section is done, but it's also easy to see how easy it was to do that. So we just, you know, layered with PanPastel like this, and then then with the second layer of PanPastels, we just use the flat part of this applicator sponge just to try and add the colors a little bit more accurately. So we're just paying a bit more attention to just that section. And then when the time came to apply some pencils, we just used two colors. We used the warm gray 2 and the brown, and we were able to make it look really soft and furry and three-dimensional. So my cat is going to be a smidge more gray than this cat, if you have a look. So this cat's a bit warmer in tone. Mine's a little bit more cooler in tone, but that's also because I could add some more of my umber if I wanted to, but I'm sort of okay with that. I think it still looks good, and at the end of the stream it should still look really nice. So maybe I'll just be a bit more conscious about adding the umber, the raw umber color a bit more to emphasize that brown. But otherwise, I am very, very happy with it. The eye really pops out, which I like. And the fur, I'm in love with the fur. And the fact that I didn't use any solvent, and I didn't use an etching tool to get those fine hairs out, because you don't have to with this paper. It's pretty cool. So that being said as well, the paper that you use makes a huge difference on the outcome of your drawing and the approach to the drawing. So if you're going to use sanded paper, you can apply light colors over dark colors. You cannot do that if you're going to use watercolor paper. If you're going to use watercolor paper, you have to gradually go from light to dark. You can't go dark and then light on top. So these are all things that I'm focusing on in the new curriculum, which has already started in my student portal. So if you want to sign up, check out my website, shaldinefineart.com, and the student membership, it's $8 a month, and you get access to more than 300 hours worth of content. And then what we started in the beginning of May was the new curriculum, which you can check out on the website as well to see the breakdown of what the curriculum is. And we're going to go through all the papers, all the pencil types, oil, wax, watercolor, pastel, all that. And eventually, once we understand our materials properly, then we'll get into breaking down the anatomy of an animal and a human and so on. So you guys can check that out there. What else? I think I'm going to have a lunch break. So it's 12:30. And I have to go grocery shopping. I've been procrastinating with grocery shopping so much because I hate shopping for groceries. I hate it. So that's what I'll be doing next. Go grocery shopping because there's nothing left in the pantry. I usually get my veggie order delivered, but that's for tomorrow. So I'll get my veggies tomorrow, but for today, I'm going to have to get all the other groceries. Anyways. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in. And I'll see you guys next time.